Meaning of the Eucharist. The miracle of the infinite fish and the infinite bread. The transmutation of water into wine. The body of the Kristos is the soul that is given off as a piece of the bread that is infinitely multiplied, according to the infinitely multiplied fishes of spirits, swimming through the water of the first stages of experienced truth, being the water of the truth of the old past, which is turned into wine of God's truth, by Kristos developing the necessary blood of truth to run through the body and bread of Kristos, whom is the Son of God, whom is expanding the work of God through sharing the infinite body and bread of the soul, which is God the fatherly divine masculine and the motherly divine feminine, before creation in duality, as wholeness to be experienced as consciousness, which God also is, with the seated spirit that is grown within the light of awareness that is experienced by the soul of what is God, whom is also consciousness that is grown into by the spirit, with the awareness uncovering the truth, as the energetic spirit body chooses the energy the body builds, with depending if spirit chooses paths within the legion of egos existing through the lies produced out of sin, or builds upon infinite paths of possibilities of being through the expansion of God's unifying duality, willed by the masculine aspect out of nothing, the feminine aspect in which is the darkness that becomes a new truth, under the light of awareness, shining out of Son of consciousness, which is God, whom in infinite wholeness becomes all of what exists under the light of truth, produced out of the Son, whom shines the truth upon the seeds of spirits, to create many stars of God being the spirits, granted life upon the offering of the soul, which is God, and is experienced more within expansion of life under love, shared amongst God, which is the highest and most divine form of feeling, which produces the highest quality of experiencing the infinite expressions of God through each unique spirit as a part of soul, which holds their own worlds unfolding as fractals of infinite existences, produced under what is essential for the continuation, for the expanding love of God, necessary for existence of life, to be free from the corruption of worldwide domination committed through the sins of egos, whom are responsible for all the misery upon the world that is not done by God, whom may be blamed for, by whom have been blinded into rejection by the sins of egos, whom may grow under every sin committed by a spirit, and compounded into its punishment, being the revelation of truth which crushes all lies, creating the sins against God's impeccable will, sins which develop the egos that become the sin it has grown to be addicted to, but cut off for the sake of the destiny which fulfills God's will of the expansion of God, built upon the evolution of divine love that is the necessary for peace upon earth, to be grown into a paradise that corresponds to heaven, now attainable after the great revelation of God, whom is not within us all, but rather is infinitely existent to be experienced through the Spirit, whom sprouts into ascension through God, whom is the soul in which the Spirit grows through to become a shining star of God's truth within their own world of experience, being the consciousness, the soul, whom becomes an experience in unity with Spirit, into the infinitely expanding perfection of what is achieved by the divine love of God, which is the bond which holds the faith in which is used as the fuel for growth of the spirit into more awareness of soul, being the consciousness in which allows more ability to experience God, and the divine gift of life, allowing the expansion of the highest vibrational ability to experience God, and the divine gift of life, allowing the expansion of the highest vibrational state of experiencing existence, divine love of God, which is the key towards infinite growth, towards more fractals of the evolution of what has sprung, symbolized as the microcosm of the macrocosm of how the beginning of creation was sprung out of nothing by the will of God. God willed thyself unto existence out of nothing, which means that God is also the infinite nothing as well as the infinite eternity of existence. This is the birth of duality between light and dark, the fatherly divine masculine and the motherly divine feminine, whom both were necessary for the creation of God, the revealing of consciousness in which both the light and dark aspects of God are revealed, the truth of what is shown through the awareness of what is created out of the revealing of the dark unknown under the light of consciousness, as a new form where we see in the material realm as color produced out of the dance of the sacred geometry created between light and dark. a new existence to both the light and the dark, described as the new truth that is formed through the duality, which is seen as color, which we see in the material realm as the truth produced out of the consciousness of what was produced out of the masculine and feminine duality of the first creation, manifested as light developing awareness of what was in the darkness, unknown, producing a new set of truths for every enlightenment upon a what was not known, but now known, and manifested into consciousness, experiencing a new existence, developing upon that truth, leading closer to God's impeccable will, to infinitely expand God through experiencing the love of God through all the stars of spirits, whom grown into enough soul to become the higher and infinitely expanding awareness, shining the same light as God, whom is the whole soul as well, just like the ocean, which to the spirit, like a fish, becomes alive with only a part or a wave of the ocean, whom may grow more into the ocean's divine correspondence, soul, which is also consciousness, and God. Waves of the ocean are whatever parts of soul discovered by spirit and manifested into the expression of consciousness within this particular aspect of God.